Friday, the 31st of January, 2025. Good morning, everyone. This morning's devotional is a reading from the second book of Chronicles, chapter 20, reading verse 1 and verse 3, and they read, "After this, the armies of the Moabites, Ammonites, and some of the Meunites declared war on Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat was terrified by this news and begged God for guidance." Sometimes it seems as if the odds are stacked against you. And so here's a story about a person who had a day like that. His name is Brian. It's all fictitious, by the way. So Brian got up and he discovered that his apartment, his flat, had been flooded by water because of a broken water pipe. And he got up and he wanted to go and rent a machine to clean up all the water. And as he went outside, he discovered that he had a flat tire. So he went back inside the flat to phone a friend for help. And as he grabbed the phone, it gave him such an electric shock that he ripped it off the wall. By the time he was able to leave, the water damage had caused his door to swell shut. And so he had to call and shout for a neighbor to kick it down. While all this was happening, someone stole Brian's car. That evening, Brian attended a ceremony at his university and injured himself when he sat down on his chair. Doctors stitched his wound, but no one could resuscitate Brian's 4 little canaries that had died when part of the ceiling collapsed on their cage. After all that, when he got back from university, he slipped on the wet carpet and injured his back. Wow. Poor Brian. Have you ever had a day like that, or maybe even a year? What do you do when you're facing insurmountable and overwhelming problems? Before you do anything else, you go directly to God and you can say, "God, I'm so overwhelmed." And you can ask God, what would you do in a situation like this? While your perspective is limited, God's perspective is eternal. He can see the beginning and the end. He can see the past, present, and future all at the same time. You need to get God's perspective, the bigger picture of the problem that seems so overwhelming to you right now. All too often, we see prayer as a last resort instead of our first resort. Prayer is usually something that we do way down the line after we've tried all other options. People might even say, well, all we can do now is pray, like it's their last option. Prayer should be your first option, not your last. If you want God to help you overcome the odds in any area in your life, you have to turn to Him first. My dear friends, know this, that you are going to have some difficult times, but you should never let an impossible situation intimidate you. Rather, let it motivate you to pray more and to turn to God first. May the Lord be with you. May He bless you. May He cause His face to shine upon you and be with you always. Goodbye.